Amaranthus hybridus. Nickname for this plant is female finger because compared to the plant I will be covering next week, Amaranthus reflectus, the flower spikes or flower clusters, which we will see later, are much more slim and smooth compared to the reflectus. Reflectus flower spikes or spike clusters are more bristly, thick, stout. Now this is part 1. In part 2 I will be sharing a mnemonic or memory technique to help you commit to memory the most distinguishing characteristics of this plant, and a mnemonic which will help you distinguish or identify other amaranths, none which are poisonous, and all are edible. Be sure to watch all of part 1 so that part 2 is understandable. It is a weedy plant, 3 to 6 feet tall. The central stem is light green or tan green. It is stout, round in circumference, and it is longitudinally grooved or ribbed. It's usually hairy, as we can see here in this picture, small tiny hairs. The flowers are tiny, and they develop what's called spike clusters. These spike clusters develop on top of the central stem, and from where we see here, they develop from where the leaf stalk meets the stem. The flower clusters or spike clusters that develop from where the leaf stalk meets the stem, these spikes are much smaller. Here in this picture we see larger spikes on top of the central stem and much smaller spike clusters from where the leaf stalk meets the stem. The leaves alternate along the stem. They are not opposite of one another. The stem is unbranched, or it may branch occasionally. And the leaf stalks are quite long, which causes the leaves to droop down somewhat, as we see here in these examples. This is a close-up of a spike cluster. The spikes can grow up to 2 feet long on some larger plants. Again, notice in this picture the long leaf stalks, which causes the leaves to droop down somewhat. Female finger is predominantly green, but it may have red tints along the edges of the leaves and elsewhere The entire plant can be read. The leaves are up to 5.5 inches long, not including the leaf stalk, and 3 inches wide. They're smooth or slightly wavy along the edges, oval to lance shaped, and each leaf has pennant or feather-like parallel veins. The underside of each leaf has veins which are raised The leaves can be covered with short hairs, which is called down, or they can be hairless. They're usually notched at the tip of the younger leaves. Now this is a drawing of the fruit. After being pollinated by the wind, each flower is replaced by a bladder-like capsule containing just one seed. The capsule is tan and it splits open across the middle in order to release its seed. This is called the cap. The fruit is 2 millimeters long, oblong in shape. It features 5 sepals. And the sepals have short points. The seeds are tiny, they're flattened. Dark brown or black. Circular. Glossy. Female finger has a taproot. It is short, the root is stout, and it is often tinted red. The edible parts of this plant are the leaves, the stems, root, and seeds. The whole plant, essentially. To learn how to prepare these parts for eating, go to survivalplantsmemorycourse.com and click on Amaranthus hybridus through the Index of Plants link. And you'll find it under Methods of Preparation. This has been part 1, and in part 2 I will be sharing a mnemonic or memory technique to help you commit to memory the most distinguishing characteristics of this plant and all other amaranths. there are over 60 species of amaranths, none of which are poisonous, and all are edible. So be sure to watch part 2, and thank you for watching part 1.